And alright guys, what is going on? How are you all doing? Welcome back to another video on the David Hammond Visuals YouTube channel. Now in this video guys, we're speaking again about podcasting, or how I film and record my podcast, okay? Now if you guys saw the other video, the one I just posted before this one, I'll link it up there. That spoke about my podcast setup, but that was when I am alone, okay? So when there's really no cameras recording, I don't have any guests, it's just me, super simple, minimal in my room. And after making that video, it got me thinking, well, I actually have another YouTube channel where it's an entire podcast YouTube channel where I sit down with other guests, other creatives, and we speak. It's called Creator Chats, and with that, I have 3 cameras, I have lights, the audio setup. So I thought, why not, I make a video on that for you guys. Maybe just because some of you guys out there want to record a podcast, or at least just understand kind of the behind the scenes of how and why I shoot it the way I do. So nonetheless, we're going to break this video into 3 main sections. That is going to be number 1, lighting, 2, audio, and then 3, camera / composition, where I place the cameras. So with that said, let's jump into number 1, guys. This is lighting. Now, I shoot the podcast downstairs in the family room. If you guys have seen the other videos or the other YouTube channel, I actually have 3 YouTube channels. My personal channel, David Hammond, I use lights, okay? It's kind of the same setup as that, where it's just 2 softbox lights and I'm on the couch, except this time, because I have a guest with me, it's a little bit different, okay? We have the tea, by the way. So instead of the 2 lights being directly on me, as if it was just myself, my key light and my fill light, because I have a guest, super simple. All I choose to do is with the 2 lights, I have me and one other guest, I just put 1 light on one person, okay? I don't necessarily use like a degree angle of like which one is the key light, which one's the fill light. They're both pretty even as long as they are positioned in a way where the cameras, when they shine on us, it'll create a nice split lighting, okay? So with that said, let's now jump into number 2. This is audio. So audio for podcasting, guys, obviously it's a podcast. Audio is pretty important. Now I use 2 main sources of mics, or 2 different mics. One on the guest, it is actually the exact mic I'm using right now. It is my boom pole, and then I have my Rode Video Micro shotgun attached, except instead of it being outside the shot, I actually choose to keep it inside the shot, and there are a couple of reasons for this. One, it just looks cool. I personally love for podcasts for there to be a mic in the shot. It just looks very it looks very creative, it looks very professional in my opinion too when you're going for that look. And B, the reason it's closer is so it can sound better, okay? Now this audio is not bad, but the microphone, because it's outside the shot, it's not going to sound as good, all right? I would never use this exact audio for a podcast. It's just not ideal. So what we do is I bring the boom pole down and I position it right outside their mouth, so the audio not only sounds amazing, but it looks really cool as well. Now as far as my audio source goes, I use a USB mic, okay? So this is super simple. It is just a microphone. The one I have is a Blue Yeti that you plug into your laptop, a USB mic, that's what they'd call it. And it records or runs directly to my laptop. This mic is amazing. I got it on Amazon. It was actually like the first mic I got. It was probably around $200 Canadian. I got this years ago. I love it. It's an amazing podcasting mic that I'm sure a lot of you guys maybe watching this have, and I'd recommend it. I used it for a long time. Now, what I do have with this to make it even cooler and more accessible is, one, I have a pop filter. So this is what goes just over top of the mic, so it can catch a lot of the high pitch pops and B's and P's and things like that, because that's going to spike on the audio. And then 2, I have a scissor arm. Okay, now the scissor arm is kind of like a boom pole, except it is a scissor arm. It's exactly kind of like how it sounds, like a scissor, where you can control exactly where you want the mic to be positioned, where a boom pole, not so much. Once you set it, it's kind of there. So that's what I use for audio. Again, a shotgun mic with a boom pole for the guest, and then for myself, a USB mic, the Blue Yeti with a scissor arm and a pop filter. Again, do you guys need these microphones? Absolutely not. You can record from a plethora of different options. This is just what I personally use myself, and it's what I recommend because it's very easily accessible, fairly affordable, and it works, in my opinion, extremely well. If I haven't played some audio from the clips, I will do so now. Yeah, that was like your first live performance.
Yeah, I was getting ready to do my first performance.
Sick.
Yeah,
and now, fast forward, another 3 years?
Yeah, I think 2.5, 3 years. Yeah,
Okay, so we had
yeah.
like 2.5 intervals.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, finally, tell them what you just told me. Like, where'd you play last night?
Okay,
What's
yeah.
up? And finally, guys, this now moves us on to section number 3. This is camera, or how we place the cameras, kind of like I was alluding to before with lighting, to make just the scene look the best it can, okay? Now, I personally have 2 cameras at this exact moment. I used to have 3, sold 1. The 2 cameras I have is one, the 80D, the Canon 80D, which is what I'm shooting on now, and I have, if you can see in the background, I have a Canon M100. It's a mirrorless camera. It's the same sensor size, a crop sensor. Are they amazing cameras? They're not the best, but they're great. They get the job done. So I use 3 cameras. I just named 2. My brother actually has a camera himself, and it's a cinema camera. It's a Sony PXW FS5, and it's great. It's awesome. Now, I understand you guys aren't going to have FS5 cinema cameras lying around. He just happens to have one because he uses it. That's the third camera I use. Do you need to use that? Absolutely not. I've recorded podcasts with my third camera I used to have was like a little Rebel T6. I would use that religiously. I've shot them with GoPros as a third main camera. You know, it doesn't matter. Just find the cameras you have around you. So with that said, now let me explain which camera goes where, the lenses I use, and just really the scenario behind it. So first off, the Canon 80D, which is this camera, I choose to use a 50mm lens, and I place this exactly on the guest, okay? This is important, the lens choice, 50mm. Not only is that an amazing focal length, it looks very natural to our eye, it looks very organic as far as like it's normally how we see it in real life. It's just a very pleasing, isolating shot. It's not a wide shot, right? I'm not putting a wide angle 10 to 18mm on the guest. That's not the shot for it. We're getting there, but not for that shot. So I put the Canon 80D, a 50mm on the guest. The second camera, which is my brother's cinema camera, we put another 50mm lens on that, and that shoots on me, okay? Now, personally, what I'd recommend, if you can, is to try to keep a very similar focal length for the 2 shots out of the 3 that are on the guests, okay? This is because they're both isolating shots and they want to be fairly even, where if one shot is, you know, let's say your guest shot is like right up to his nose, right, where you can't see his whole face, and then your shot is, you know, super wide, it's just going to be a little distracting, you know? For the most part, you want things to be pretty even. So my brother's a 50mm lens, that goes on me. I have a 50mm, that goes on my guest, and that leaves the third camera, the Canon M100. That is, we have a wide angle lens, so that's our wide shot. That's our communal, kind of establishing shot, you could say, which a lot of podcasts have, which now this third angle, do you need it? Not necessarily. A lot of podcasts don't. They usually just have 2, but if you have a third camera lying around, it is really attractive to have a third wide shot where I can just get both of you talking at the same time, okay? So that lens I have on there is a 50 to 45mm, and I put it on 15 to 45. I put it on all the way at the widest it goes, 15mm, so it gets both of us. You can see us beautifully, and it works really well. And now finally, let me explain really quick the relation of the cameras and the lighting and how they work synergistically or together. Now, the way we position the cameras was in a way where the lighting would look pretty decent on us, okay? Obviously, we only have 2 softbox lightings. It's not too crazy. We were pretty general with it. But the way we positioned the cameras, which we can all do, was in a way where maybe it was, you know, over someone's shoulder, or it was positioned in this way where the light's hitting us from a side instead of actually directly in front of us. And that's because you don't necessarily with podcasts have to have the camera facing you like this. Does that make sense? So my lighting source could be coming this way, but I could position the camera maybe to a side so it almost appears like I'm being lit from the side, or it just shows a lot more detail and shadow, right? So you can get creative with that. Again, you don't have to have the cameras positioned exactly in front of you. And usually I choose not to. I'll either have the cameras positioned, you know, completely from the left or the right, or just slightly tilted one way. So it just adds a bit more detail, shadow, and contrast. And guys, that is it. That is exactly how I shoot my podcast as of right now. Full disclosure though, I do plan to, well, we are moving, you know, fairly soon. So this setup will shift and adapt, and I'll be sure to update you guys when I have the new composition and things like that. But that's how I'm doing it right now. It's the cameras I'm using, the lighting, the audio. You guys don't need to use these cameras. You don't need to use this lighting. You know, you can really just get resourceful, but I'm just explaining how I do it and why I do it the way I do. So I hope this helped. If it did, guys, please do give it a thumbs up, subscribe, comment, share this with a friend if they want to get into podcasting and are maybe wondering how to. And if you guys want more videos on this, then comment down below. Let me know, and I would love to make more anything, photo, video, or podcast-ish related, but kind of, visual based. So that's that, guys. I'll finish there. Thank you all so much for watching. If you guys have not yet, go download yourself the free photo video half-an-hour course. It's a half-an-hour course I put together, taking one section of my 6 mega courses, which are there each an hour and a half long, taking one section, put into a half-an-hour course. So if you were interested in outdoor photography, outdoor videography, commercials, documentaries, short films, or music videos, then this course, go get it. If you want after, you can invest in a full course, but if you don't want to, don't worry, you get the free course. And as always, there is I was gonna say free. It's not free. There's photo video coaching as well if you guys are interested and really want to take it to that next step. I'd love to talk to you guys and coach you one-on-one, linked down below. That is that. Thank you guys so much. I'll catch you when I see you next. And with that, much love. Keep creating. Peace.